Ooh, I have a story for you today. It's a story you might already know the beginning of. It's not my story, but it is a story that I've shared before. In 2018, I made this video called I Just Want to Be Cured of PIED. This is the last straw. Give that story a listen if you want some more context, because I'm going to be sharing updates from this man's journey. Link to that video is in the description below. So this man, he shared several updates with me throughout the 4 years since I made that video, and I wanted to share his updates because it's such a good example of a long recovery with long flatlines that ends in eventual success. Spoiler alert, sorry about that. But I receive a lot of questions from men who are in long recoveries, even though that is the minority of people who are recovering from PIED, who are desperate for the stories of people who have been in similar situations and eventually got through to the other side and healed and were able to enjoy great relationships and great sex. And this is just such a story. So last we left this Anon, he was 19 and he'd been trying to quit porn and heal from PIED and porn addiction for about 2 years. He'd had periods of success, as much as 6 months porn free. He'd had intermittent relapses. He'd had 2 relationships during that time, both of whom he told all about his journey, and he had some rewiring with those women as well. And both of those relationships came to an end for individual reasons, but he did get a chance to do some rewiring. However, he did not ever get to the point where he was able to experience full sex or maintain an erection long enough for a sexual experience that was going to be satisfying for them both. And he was getting pretty frustrated by this. And in fact, at that time that I shared his story in 2018, he was having thoughts of suicide and he was displaying self-harm behaviors. And he had just come off of a big binge, lots of relapses. And yet he still had hope for the future, and he was recommitting to this process and optimistic about the next 90 days. So let's jump in 3 months after that last video. In July 2018, he writes, "Hi Noah, it's great to hear from you. The 90 days hasn't gone as planned, but I'm currently on a week-long streak, and this is going to be it. This is the streak that does it." I'm betting that wasn't the first time you said that, but I understand the feeling very well. However, although I did not make the 90 days, I'm still so much better than the last time I emailed you. My mood is so much better. I am more driven. My anxiety is near enough gone. Feelings are temporary. This is something that I have to remind people of a lot. Any feeling is temporary. It's transient. If you forget this, you're going to be in trouble. Because if you're feeling great, life is going really well, and you're feeling confident, and you think that this feeling should or will last forever, you're not going to be prepared for that day when life gut punches you, or when you wake up just not feeling that great, not energetic, or kind of depressed. And you're not going to be ready for that. You're not going to be prepared. And if you forget that feelings are temporary, when you are feeling down, when you're feeling depressed, when you're feeling hopeless, you're not going to be able to persist with equanimity through that feeling and get to the other side, because good days are coming. And if you believe that that is going to last forever, you can make some choices that you can never take back. I'm talking about self-harm. I'm talking about suicide. And that's something that I hear too much about from people who are struggling with porn-related problems, because if you're struggling with PIED, any sort of porn-induced sexual dysfunction, the great thing about that is that it is temporary. You can heal, you can recover. But if you give up on yourself, it's not going to happen. As long as you're alive, though, you can continue forward, you can reach brighter days, and you can recover. The past couple of weeks, he writes, I've been going out and really socializing with people, even speaking to girls. I'm going to stay away from relationships until I'm cured of my PIED, but just talking to these girls, I get so much more satisfaction from simply talking to them and flirting with them more than watching porn. And I think that this has really opened my eyes. I know I said that it was the last straw for me just over 90 days ago, but even though I have not had a straight 90-day streak, I am in such a better place than I was when I first emailed you. Well, that's great to hear. And yes, real human interaction, feeling real sparks between you and someone you're attracted to, even if it doesn't get to sex or get to the bedroom or become a relationship, is still so much more gratifying and satisfying than any experience with a screen, with illusions, phantoms on a screen. One thing you say is that you're going to stay away from relationships until you're cured of PIED. And it's not a bad mindset and choice to work on yourself and get to a place of stability before you invite potential romantic partners into your life. That's a smart choice. However, if you're waiting till you're fully cured of PIED before you start dating and start entering relationships, that might prevent you from fully curing your PIED because rewiring is an essential part of this process. That means practicing intimacy, conditioning yourself to respond through practice and repetition to the touch of a real person, to looking in their eyes, to, you know, breathing with them, to speaking with them, to laughing with them, to touching them, to kissing them. And if you're not giving yourself that chance, then you're probably not ever going to get to that point where you feel fully cured. There's only so much that can happen just with time rebooting away from porn. A lot can happen, and that is important, but rewiring is also critical. Watching you read out my story also really helped me, which I found strange, but it only motivated me more. 90 days ago, I was depressed and had very little hope. And now, even though I'm not cured and I've still got a way to go, I am optimistic and driven. I will be cured of my PIED, hopefully by the end of this year. After months and months of broken streaks, I still feel like I'm recovering. Before, I would struggle to get an erection even with porn, and now at times I can get one just by fantasizing. So even with my lackluster attempts, I am still recovering. But like I said, I truly think that this will be the streak that does it. I will keep you in the loop, and thank you again, Noah. I'm so glad that you're giving yourself permission to be excited about your life and about your journey and happy with yourself and proud of yourself before you cross the finish line and are fully cured. This is something I see all too often, is that people withhold happiness from themselves until they've crossed that imaginary finish line. We're always going to be on a journey as long as we're alive. And so if you can't be happy while being on a journey, in progress, a work in progress, you're never going to be happy. So give yourself that permission to be excited and optimistic and proud of yourself, even as you are a work in progress. Hi, Noah. To tell you the truth, life has been a big roller coaster since we last spoke. I managed to overcome my addiction to a certain extent multiple times, but have never properly recovered. However, with the UK being in lockdown due to COVID-19, I've found myself back to square one. Without being able to go out, to go to work, anything like that, I am constantly relapsing. I've had a massive binge over the past week, and I'm at an all-time low. Although I usually find that after a big binge, I get bored of porn, and then it helps me to avoid it for a while, helping me to start my recovery again. Hopefully, this is the one. So you can see from our 1,000-mile bird's eye perspective, looking at this man's life and his letters throughout the years, the trap that he's in, the cycle that he's in. He might not be using every day anymore, but he goes a few weeks, a few months, always saying, this is the one, hopefully this is the one, this is the time, and then something happens that pushes him back to relapse. And then he relapses enough that he feels disgusted with that, disgusted with himself and with porn, kind of bored of it, and he's ready and he's motivated again to give this another shot. And it's that sort of yo-yo pattern that can be so dangerous and keep people trapped in the addictive cycle for years or decades. So that complacency that comes when the initial motivation and anger and disgust fades away is something that you have to learn how to manage, how to deal with. You have to be able to build the skills necessary to have a permanent shift in how you handle your emotions, how you handle your triggers and your cravings. Not such that you're constantly fighting for the rest of your life, fighting battles against your own urges every day or every week for the rest of your life. It's not like that. But you do have to be smart and persistent and be willing to accept guidance within this journey if you don't want to be caught in a cycle like this for years and years or decades or for the rest of your life. That's why it's so important that people not just try to do this all on their own. You can lie to yourself for years saying, this is the time, I'm going to be stronger this time, it's going to be different this time. But if you're not doing anything different, it's not going to be different. You're not going to get a different outcome. And it's so much more empowering to work with other people, to be inside of a group, a team of people who are all working on the same goals, and to have the guidance of someone who's been there before and knows what it takes to get through to the other side, truly, and get out of that cycle. So check out my link tree in the description below for different ways to access help, including support groups, personal work with me, courses that I've made. Do yourself the favor of investing in yourself now so that you can enjoy the rest of your life and enjoy satisfying, healthy, amazing relationships and sex, rather than refusing to invest in yourself, refusing to invest the time, energy, and yes, money in yourself that it's going to take to really make the difference here. If you know that you need to be porn free, but you're finding yourself unable to keep porn out of your life, don't just keep doing the same things and expecting different results. All right. One more thing I'll say in response to his May 2020 update is that once you decide you want something, the world is going to make damn well sure that you really want it. It's going to test you. Fate, life, the universe, God, whatever you believe in, is going to throw challenges at you to make sure you really want that thing you decided you wanted. And I do believe that this individual is going to overcome, going to rise to those challenges and see those challenges as growth opportunities. Let's find out. Hi, Noah. It's been a long time since I last emailed you, but I just wanted to give you an update on how things are going. I'm the fella whose email you used in the video, I just want to be cured of PIED. This is the last straw. It's been a long journey since I first emailed you, and to be honest, not a lot has changed with the PIED situation. I guess my first email wasn't the last straw. However, at the same time, mentally, I'm in such a better place, regardless of the PIED. Don't get me wrong, it still eats at me, and it still has negative impact on my life as a whole, but nowhere to the extent as it did a couple of years ago. I'm 22 years old now, and now I feel like I have much more purpose and more to live for. I've found that where I was in life, working somewhere I hated, being around negative people, it made the recovery impossible because I needed porn to escape my life, if that makes sense. This is so true. However much harm your porn use has caused you, it does serve an emotional purpose. And my cat just jumped up on the desk. You might see her. Hey, baby. I'm making a video. Yeah, I know. All right, so as I was saying, however much harm your porn use has caused you, it has an emotional place in your life. It serves a purpose. And you got to figure out what that purpose is and what you use porn for. Most of us use it as a way to manage emotions we don't want to feel, to numb or escape from emotions we don't want to feel. And if you're dissatisfied with your real life, with your job, with your relationships, with your situation in life, if you wake up every day and you're dreading getting up out of bed because the job that you're going to is meaningless for you and feels like it's draining your soul, and the people you're around are negative and they're draining your positive energy and your optimism for life, it's going to be damn hard to give up porn, which is something that is capable of sweeping all of that out of your mind for the moment and making you feel something else, feel something more intense. Even if afterward you feel worse than ever. However, if you've built yourself a life that you enjoy, that you love, surrounded by people who are exciting for you, who are positive and supportive, who are inspiring to you, and you go to work and feel engaged with what you do, it taps into your strengths, your creativity, you feel it's important, you feel it helps the world, and it brings home a paycheck, it's going to be a lot easier to leave behind that emotional crutch of porn or whatever other addiction. However, now I feel like it is less of a priority for me. I am more focused on other things, which I feel takes the edge off and is making the reboot easier for me. Today I broke a streak because I stumbled across some images and it led to a full relapse. Again, don't get me wrong, I feel disappointed and annoyed, but I'm dealing with my relapses a lot better than I used to because I know that I will get it sorted eventually. That's beautiful. So there's a turning point that happens for each of us at some point in this journey. And once you pass that turning point, the story that you tell yourself about yourself and that you believe about yourself changes. That story is no longer, I'm a porn addict struggling to be free. That story becomes, I'm a porn free man. I'm just the kind of person for whom porn is not a part of my life. It's not something I need. And that's not going to change. Even if a slip happens, a relapse happens, you don't see it as proof positive against that new story. You see it as a speed bump, temporarily interrupting your forward progress. It's not proof that you can't do this. It's just a blip. It's something that you need to pay attention to and learn from, but it's not something that has to take away your belief in yourself. And once you pass that turning point, I've seen this time and time again, it's inevitable that you will succeed. You might have more relapses, you might have more slips, but once you truly pass that turning point, it's inevitable that you're going to become porn free and your life is going to get a lot better. Well, barring unforeseen other circumstances, disease and disaster and accidents. But you know what I mean. I've also downloaded multiple porn blockers on my phone, as that is what I mainly watch porn on, just as a way to stop random urges. As having sex goes, I've had zero success since I was 19. However, I have had intimate experiences revolving around foreplay, which has also helped me to see that having PIED isn't the end of the world. These experiences, in a way, have allowed me to build up enough confidence to go out and talk and interact with women, regardless of my PIED. I feel like this has helped me mentally, massively. So, porn blockers, obviously, it's going to help to have that roadblock in place that makes it a little bit harder to get to porn. Any blocker, just like any fence, any barrier, you can find a way around it if you're determined to do so. But does that mean we should remove all fences from like cliff sides just because someone could jump over the fence if they really wanted to? No. The fence is there as a security feature, as a reminder, hey, anything past this point is dangerous. It could hurt you. And hopefully, if you got your mind on straight, you've got other ways of coping with those emotions that trigger you to want to use porn. When you bump into that fence, you'll realize, hey, that's not the way I want to go. Okay, I'm going to go outside. I'm going to turn off my phone. I'm going to call my friend, whatever. And you'll get yourself back on track. And obviously, Remojo is the company that I work with. We have an app that's now absolutely free. It will block porn on your devices. It will teach you how to manage your urges. It will connect you with community, track your streak, and do so much more. Check that out for sure right now if you haven't already. Again, it's free now. You can still pay us and support the app and get a few perks for it, but all the features that are really important are free. I don't feel like there's no point trying anymore, which is a huge step for me. This has all led to me meeting a girl. I've been seeing this girl for a few weeks now and things are going great. Again, same as my past relationships, I told her about my PIED within the first week of us properly talking, just to get it out there, and she was so understanding. Again, this has shown me that it's not all about sex. Just having an emotional connection with someone can be enough. Anyway, sorry for the really long email. I just wanted to update you on my progress. Hope to hear back from you soon. One thing that this Anand does really well is he's open and honest with his partners. He can have that conversation, he can let them in, and that's a beautiful thing. And as you can see, each time he's done that, it's benefited them both greatly. He's giving his partner a chance to see and accept and love him and support him for who he is and what he's going through. He's giving himself the chance to have the support of someone who can help more than anyone else along this journey. And he's giving them both the chance at a deeper, more trusting, and more intimate relationship than they would have had otherwise. All right, now we're in this year, 2 years after that last update. Hey Noah, sorry it's been such a long time since I last updated you. Last year in February, I finally overcame my PIED, and a lot of that is due to your guidance. I know we've only spoken a couple of times, but watching your videos helped me tremendously. When I first contacted you for help, I was 18 or 19 years old, unable to get an erection without porn, in some cases even with porn. And now I am 23, soon to be 24, and I am the happiest I have been in a long, long time. My PIED is gone. I now have a very healthy sex life with my girlfriend. I'm at a point where I can get an erection just from kissing, which a few years ago, there was no chance of happening. Now, don't get me wrong. My journey probably hasn't been the smoothest of recoveries. There were relapses here and there, but once it was done, and I'd get straight back onto another no PMO streak. If I remember correctly, my longest streak lasted 206 days. Now, like I said, I feel like I definitely did some things wrong. After the 100-day mark, me and a girl had planned a night in, and I decided I would try Viagra just as a safety net. I had tried Viagra before, but because of my mental state and how bad my PIED was, it did nothing. But once my streak was building up, I tried Viagra and had successful sex for the first time in years. Didn't go soft, didn't finish prematurely. It was great. I started using Viagra frequently, but I realized I was just replacing one bad habit with another bad habit. So I cut down gradually until I stopped using it altogether. I feel like it helped me, and the fact that it was almost just giving me that extra boost. However, I understand that it could have just led to another problem. Yeah, Viagra, other ED drugs, medications, if you have minor to moderate PIED or you've already done some healing, it probably will have an effect and make it easier to get and maintain an erection for sex in the short term. But it's easy to become psychologically reliant on those pills in order to have the confidence to have real sex. And it's not something that you want to be reliant on for the rest of your life, especially starting out as a young man using those pills. So you made a very smart choice, I think, weaning yourself off. If any one of you out there is going to use these at all, I recommend the way that I sometimes recommend using them is after a long reboot when you feel like your body is mostly ready for sex, but you've never had sex before. Maybe you need that extra boost of confidence, something that will help you have enjoyable sexual experiences. Use it to have some enjoyable sexual experiences. Build up some of that rewiring and conditioning to real sex and real intimacy. And then pretty quickly wean yourself off of them because it's not something you should need long term if all you're dealing with is a porn-induced erectile dysfunction. I also found that having a streak tracking app on my phone helped too. Seeing the days of no PMO stacking up gave me so much motivation to keep going. Again, excellent point. I recommend Remojo for stuff like that. Link down below in my link tree. Curing my PIED hasn't just allowed me to have a normal sex life, it's made me a better person in general. I'm now more confident and outgoing, to the point where a couple of friends have said that I'm almost a completely different person. I just wanted to update you, as it's been a long process, albeit totally worth it, and you were one of the first people who I reached out to. Keep doing what you're doing, man. Like I said in my first email, you're a saint. I don't know about all that, but I'm very glad that my work helped you get to where you are and that you've shared all these updates with us. And I know that this is going to help many other people out there and inspire them to get what you've already acquired for yourself. Especially for you young guys who are struggling with this, who think, oh man, am I ever going to have a healthy relationship, a healthy sex life? Don't give up on yourself. It might take longer than you want it to, but you'll get there and you'll have plenty of life left to enjoy the benefits. All right, everybody. Have a wonderful porn-free day. If you made it this far in the video, leave a like and check out my link tree below for more ways to get help. See you next time. Oh, wait, and there's a live stream coming up this Saturday. If you're watching this video as soon as it comes out, live stream this Saturday, 10 a.m. Oregon time. Be a live Q&A. Bring your questions, and I'll talk for an hour answering your questions until my voice gets tired, and then we'll end it. I do these once a month, so come join, totally free. See you there.